The 2025 NFL Draft is still a few months away, but let's go ahead and do my top 10 quarterbacks of the 2025 NFL Draft. But if you guys do go on to enjoy the video, hit the like and subscribe button. Let's hop into it. We are going to begin with, at number 10, Riley Leonard. Now, I really do like Riley Leonard as a person, as a human being. I think he's a really good high-character player who really does have a tenacity that you want to see within the quarterback position. This is somebody that's going to do whatever it takes to find a way to win a game. Where Riley Leonard kind of falls short is he's very similar in some ways to like Daniel Jones in terms of like he is accurate but isn't aggressive at all. Like, I can't really tell you how many times I saw Riley Leonard take a genuine shot down the field that wasn't wide open. You look at guys like Matthew Stafford and Patrick Mahomes in his prime, Josh Allen, Joe Burr, those guys take chances. Downfield, those are your high-level starters. Those are your high-level guys who have making deep, downfield reads for years. That's just not something that Riley Leonard just does not do. Now, what Leonard does bring to your team is he has very good athleticism, and I think within a quick to intermediate passing game, I think he's pretty darn good. But again, because he is just so unaggressive down the field, I just never see Rhea Leonard ever being a capable enough starter. That all said, I do think R.I. Leonard could be somebody who is used in certain packages along the goal line. Like if you want somebody who can be a tush-push type of guy, or somebody who could be used in running quarterback situations. Like Ryder Leonard can be used in that situation, but as a passer, he just leaves a lot to be desired. He does have a good throwing motion, so I'm not too worried about that, but again, it's just the overall tenacity to go and throw the ball down the field with some level of aggression. He just doesn't really have that right now. I do think he'll be drafted, and I do think for whatever team that does draft him, I do think you're getting somebody who is capable of playing. But I would be a little bit shocked if we ever saw R.I. Leonard be a full-time starter. For now, I think he's a really solid backup who can maybe get some playing time in push-type situations. Moving on to number 9, I have Kyle McCord from Syracuse and formerly Ohio State. Now Cam Mord, funny enough, is one of those players who is kind of a riser in this most recent year with Syracuse. He had a really solid season with over 4,000 passing yards, 34 touchdowns, and 12 picks at Ohio State. It felt like he was always just kind of being strangleholded by the situation around him, like he had so much pressure on him as a player that it felt like he never was able to play like his true self. So when he went to Syracuse, it felt like we kind of got to see what Kyle McCord truly is. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to be a great NFL quarterback. But what I can say is I think that because of his most recent year, I do feel a little bit more optimistic about what he can become. When it comes to K. McCord, I think you're looking at somebody who has very clean mechanics, can make every throw on the field, very good lower body, as well as I do. Think when it comes down to playing within a structure, playing within a play call, this is somebody that can get the job done. The issue for Kyle Mord is, while he's not a great athlete, I also think that he's extremely limited when it comes to reading the field at Syracuse. This is often a guy who would stare down his first target and do a couple things like that. Ideally, you want somebody that can go from one read to a second read to a third read to a fourth read. That is something that Kyle McCord can do. He just needs to be more consistent with it. And I think if he cannot improve that sort of ability in his game, it's going to be really difficult for him to get any sort of legitimate options. Or playing time. Cam McCord is somebody who I think just kind of screams backup quarterback. Like he just has the look, the play on the field of somebody who's going to be in the league for probably 5 to 10 years as a backup quarterback who maybe can come in and spot play here and there, which for somebody who's ranked 9th out of a top 10, that's actually not that bad. I think that Cal Mord is somebody who offers you a pretty high floor, but a low ceiling, in terms of his ceiling. I think, at best, we're talking about a Heil backup who maybe can be a starter here and there. But in terms of being a full-time starter, I just don't think he'll be that guy. Moving on to number 8, I have Curtis Rohr out of Indiana. Now, Curtis Rohr is an interesting prospect because when you look at him physically, you would think that this is somebody that has the skill set of being somebody that could play in the NFL. The dude has really good size. He loves the game of football. I think he plays with the tenacity that's very similar.